So joining us now is the woman that puts it all together. She is the event manager of the Wine Road, Debbie Osborn, joining us today. Hey, Debbie, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome to the show. So real excited to be a part of this event this year. I'm on site and getting to hang out with some of the winemakers and at the wineries and so forth. So tell us a little bit about the Wine Road in general, and then we're going to sort of peel off and get some more information as we go along.
Okay. So the Wine Road is basically an organization made up of wineries and lodgings in northern Sonoma County. So in the Alexander Valley, Dry Creek Valley, and the Russian River Valleys. We've actually been around for 42 years, and it started with 8 wineries and then has built up to, we have about 190 wineries right now and 50 lodgings in the area who are members of our association. So our job as an association is basically we're really known for our 3 main events each year, which is Wine and Food Affair in November, Winter Wineland in January, and then we have barrel tasting weekends, which happen the first 2 full weekends in March. Aside from that, we also do a map that's distributed throughout, the United States and different countries, and also we have a website that we build that basically talks about not only our wineries, but tourism in the area and restaurants they can go to and things that are happening or that our wineries may be holding or our lodgings may be having as well.
Yeah.
So overall, our goal is to bring people to northern Sonoma County to enjoy what we have here and the beauty and all the wineries and all the fun stuff that there is to do.
Yeah, it's quite amazing actually how much there is to do and how big the area is. I mean, Sonoma County is a big county, but even as big as the county is, your little region, which is those 3 regions that I spoke of earlier, like you said, 190 wineries, and those are just your members. There's other wineries that are out there as well. Where have you seen people? I know that people come from all over the United States, but this is becoming, the wine sort of lifestyle, I guess you'd call it, is becoming more and more popular over the years. You must have seen this thing grow over the years and seen people coming from literally all over the world to visit you.
We do. We have people that call us, all throughout the whole year, planning the next event that they're going to be coming to. The moment barrel tasting ends this year, we'll get calls starting up from people from different areas who will be asking when it is next year, so they can already start planning their next trip here. Their flights in, where they're going to be staying. They come with itineraries. They the wineries that they visited. They have plans per day, so it's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event, and people will come and have a plan to do, Russian River Valley on Friday and Dry Creek Valley on Saturday and Alexander Valley on Sunday, and they will have lists of wineries that they're going to be going and visiting because they've been researching it and planning on it for a year. So we hear from people all over the United States, different countries. We send maps out to all these different places. Even today I've talked to a couple different people just from, out of different states, Chicago, Florida. They're coming in for the weekends. So wow. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
I can feel the energy. It's happening. And, the sun is broken out through this little rain period that we're having, and everything is good. The mustard's in bloom, and everything is looking good. Well, so I've understood, too, that, the futures is a big deal here. And I was explaining that earlier on the show that a lot of folks, the wineries that put out small batches especially, they simply run out of wine if they were just to sell it out there, either at their tasting room or on the marketplace. So what they do is they allow people to bid on, or not bid, but actually put in an order for a case of wine or multiple cases of wine while it's still in the barrel. That's part of the barrel tasting weekend that you get to experience as you go taste this wine in the barrel and talk to the winemakers themselves. And they the tasting out of the barrel is a little bit different than tasting out of a bottle, only because it does age further in the bottle and sort of mellows out and smooths out a little bit. But it is exciting to do. But the futures is a big part of this whole thing, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. The wineries love it and the winemakers love it because they get guests coming into the winery who may or may not have ever tasted wine out of the barrel. The neat part about that is that they get to taste it. The winemaker then will be able to tell them, how they expect the wine to taste in a couple months or in a year when it'll be ready. And oftentimes they'll have the previous vintage of that same wine there for you to kind of taste after. So you can kind of get an idea of what the finished product's going to be like. But it's really, I mean, I've been a guest of barrel tasting as well, prior to working for the Wine Road. And for me, it was really educational because I didn't understand a lot of that stuff. And it was really neat to see it from their perspective, you know, to hear their story and when they got the grapes and when they picked it and how they feel like the wine's gonna taste in a couple months. They're really proud of their wines and they like to show it and they love to tell you about what got them to that point with that wine. So futures is a big deal. We do have a lot of people, like I said, who do come here with plans on the types of futures that they're going to buy. So if the winery lists that they have a certain wine coming out of a certain vineyard, we will have people go to those wineries, you know, that are fans of it, buy their futures, and then come back next year and their futures will be ready at the barrel tasting event. A lot of wineries do release it that weekend.
That is a blast. So I understand that over the years there's, you know, traditions and sort of. I was speaking earlier with Julie at one of the wineries and.
Pedroncelli.
Yeah, Pedroncelli. Yeah, Julie over at Pedroncelli, and she was mentioning that over the years when you guys first started off, it was sort of like they were having trouble keeping up with washing the glasses and running out of glasses. Then it was like BYOG, bring your own glass for a while.
Right.
And now you go there and you pay your entry fee and you get a map and you get a glass, I suppose. And it's just a blast to go through all these places. There's so many types of wine, but so the spreadsheet deal became a tradition is what I understand. So a lot of folks that come there now have their spreadsheet all figured out. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. They have their itineraries, you know, their plans. We don't really release what the wineries are going to be pouring for barrel tasting until mid-February. And that's because, you know, we basically have to wait for the winemakers to decide and see where the wine's going before they can say, yeah, I definitely want to pour this one. But we'll have guests calling us from the moment we launch tickets to ask, what are they pouring? And, well, we don't know yet. You know, they're still waiting on it because they are young wines and they're waiting to make sure that it's something that they want to pour to their guests.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Cause sometimes it's too early. Like you said, it's just too early. It's too edgy. Some of that wine can be a little edgy, as they say. Well, you've got so many varietals to choose from. I mean, you've got everything from the Pinots and the Chardonnays in the cooler regions up to the Zins and the Cabs in the warmer regions. Speaking with some of the winemakers today, it's been interesting to find out the different range of varietals that are available in your region. It seems like that's part of the reason that it's such a prominent wine growing region. Right.
No, there are a lot, and there are a lot that are going to be represented too during barrel tasting weekend. So it's going to be a great weekend to come out.
Good. Well, so now how do you suggest that people that haven't been there before, should you just go to Healdsburg and go to a central location like where you guys are and sort of figure out from there if they're newcomers?
We always like to, you know, when someone calls me and they ask me, you know, I've never been before, what do I do? I always tell them first to take a look at the map and take a look at what everyone's offering. Because if you really love Pinot and you're going to somewhere that, you know, has no Pinot, maybe that's kind of an indicator that's not going to be the fit for you. But also, depending on where you're staying, if you're staying here, you know, we always tell people try to find a winery, you know, far away and kind of work your way back. Find a route to work your way back to either where you're going to have dinner that night or where you're going to end up, where you're lodging it.
That's good advice.
And then that way, maybe pick four wineries that you're for sure going to hit at those locations, but be open, because on the route, you're going to find so many other wineries that are participating that maybe you didn't think about, but that you drove by and you're like, wow, that looks like a lot of fun, or that's really pretty. And you take a detour into that location. It could end up being your next favorite winery. I mean, you don't know until you try it. So I always tell people just to be flexible. Have a plan, but definitely be flexible.
Great advice from the person that would know. You're right there. As far as some of the participating wineries, I mean, as you say, you've got quite a number of them. You've got Sonoma-Cutrer. I think KJ is in there. Hannah, Corbel. I don't want to miss any of the big guys, but those are some of the examples of the big ones. But also some very small sort of boutique type as well.
Absolutely. We have larger wineries, smaller. family-owned wineries. They're just a really nice variety of sizes of wineries and the people that you're going to meet. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So how can people find you so they can just sort of download some of these maps and maybe get going on this before they give you a call?
Well, you can find all of our event information on our website. It's wineroad.com, and then just look at the barrel tasting event. So it's wineroad.com barrel tasting. We do also have 2 other events that go on throughout the barrel tasting weekend that are an additional price, but it's also an opportunity to kind of get up close and personal. One is Toast the Future, which is a new event this year that we launched. It's the Friday night before the event weekend, and it's from 5 to 7 p.m., and it's going to be there's 3 wineries, so you would pick one winery to go to, and that's your winery for the evening. They're going to do barrel samples there, current vintages. You're going to have appetizers, and just have a kind of a nice evening to kick off your barrel tasting weekend. And that one is $90 a ticket. It includes a weekend ticket with that. And those wineries that are the Toast the Future wineries don't participate in the event weekend, so this is just a special opportunity to go to those wineries.
Now, I'll be at one of them. I haven't figured out which one I'll be. I think you're gonna pick for me, but be at one of those. And then there's the breakfast the next day, right? We have
breakfast, yes. So on Saturday mornings of both event weekends, we have a breakfast at one of the winery locations, and there will be 3 winemakers there, and it's just a very casual Q&A and meet with the winemaker. So we'll have 3 winemakers from 3 different wineries. It'll be held at a winery, and then you'll get an hour to ask them questions, and it could be wine related, it could be about, who they are, their lives, their likes, anything like that. But just a kind of a good opportunity to get kind of a up close and personal with a winemaker.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do for a living, but I got to tell you, it's fun every weekend that I get to meet with these folks. And there's so many more women getting involved in winemakers too. There's a lot of excitement out there on that end. Hey, you should call that thing, that breakfast, it could be Q and eggs, right? Kind of almost. Anyway, I'm getting a little silly here with the wine, but listen, I want to thank you so much today for joining us today, Debbie, and look forward to running into you out there on the road. I'm going to pop in and grab a map from you later on, but welcome to Mike the Wine Guys in Search of the Good Life, and we'll be seeing you out there on the road.
Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, stay tuned. There's a lot more of the good life to come. I'm Mike Rayford, and we'll be right back. Stick around. Rayford, and we'll be right back. Stick around. Rayford, and